everyone, this is Peak Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video review, and this will be a non-spoiler review of Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Released on the 17th of March 2023, it stars Zachary Levi, Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, Dimon Hounsou, Rachel Zegler, and Jack Dylan Glazer, and it was directed by David F. Sandberg. It is the latest DC superhero adventure and the sequel to the first film, Shazam, which was a surprise hit back in 2019, grossing over $366 million worldwide. Now, the story of Shazam! Fury of the Gods is that we follow teenager Billy Batson, who of course was armed with the wizard powers of Shazam, as well as the members of his family. This time they have to go up against the threat of two daughters of Atlas, Hespera and Calypso, who attain the broken staff of the wizard and claim vengeance against those who defeated their father and destroyed their realm. Now, overall, Shazam! Fury of the Gods is a very light-hearted, entertaining and fun adventure for the most part. It's very bright and breezy and colourful, full of positive energy, evoking very much the same tone as what we saw very much of the early Marvel films, and also the same escapism of the typical Saturday morning animated series. It's probably at its best in the first half of the film, where we spend a lot of time with the Shazam family, and here we see a nice line in chemistry and rapport between all of the characters. They all remain very likeable and appealing, and it's quite refreshing and somewhat of a relief to have a group of characters where there's no angst or antagonism or drama, no sibling rivalries or jealousy or one-upmanship. It's just good to have these free-spirited, very likeable characters all interacting with one another and working together in very much of a team effort. Probably the best of these characters was Jack Dylan Glazer as Freddy, who is Billy's foster brother, and to be honest, he very much filled the role of Billy Batson in terms of the teenage personality, much more than what Billy did. And that's probably because Zachary Levi is of course the lead character and has to have the most involvement in the adult Shazam personality. And whilst there was nothing wrong with the Billy Batson character himself, he just wasn't as lively or entertaining a presence as what Freddy was. In the role as Freddy, Glazer has sweet-natured chemistry with Rachel Zegler as Anthea, who we learn has a far bigger role to play later on halfway through the film. As the daughters of Atlas, Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are fine. As characters, there's really not a lot in terms of depth, and things take a predictable turn between the two halfway through, but both actresses who are well established within Hollywood perform adequately with the very thin material that they have. We then mention Zachary Levi, who admittedly does get a bit tiresome when some of his humour doesn't land, and the whole shtick of a teenager in a man's body really loses its appeal. It's just this constant, almost stand-up comedy routine, and it's always been an interpretation as a character where it's okay in small doses, but when you get extended dialogue and where it's the lead character having to carry the film, it can get a bit annoying and also a bit one note. And it still doesn't make sense of how the character seems a lot more mature and level-headed when he's the younger Billy Batson as to what he is when he turns into the more adult Shazam, where he's a lot more naive and a lot more goofy and a lot more hectic. But in terms of the film, probably the main flaw is actually when it gets to the superhero action. Now yes, there's clearly been an upgrade in scale and budget and effects from the first film, and they've definitely doubled up on the action and spectacle. But as usual nowadays with these films, the spectacle gets overloaded. For at least 30 to 35 minutes, we get this constant barrage as we see all sorts of monsters and beasts, and we get all of these constant battles. Again, the cross-cutting between different characters and different encounters. And after a while, it just becomes repetitive and, dare I say, a bit boring. And the film really starts to lose itself amongst all of the CGI crashing and bashing. How many times can you see monsters and heroes crashing into buildings and explosions before it all gets a bit nondescript and a bit disengaging? So overall, if I had to give a score for Shazam! Fury of the Gods, I would give it a 6.7 out of 10. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing truly exceptional, but just overall very solid, fun, entertaining, light-hearted. It's definitely an adventure you can take your kids to see. And again, not too long, just around 2 hours. So again, nothing too heavy-handed in terms of how the story is handled. I'd probably put it a couple of notches down from the first film, just because I think it didn't have quite the same amount of heart and charm, because they spent a lot more on the action and spectacle this time round. Now, we do get a couple of cameos of certain DC characters, one of which feels really forced and heavy-handed. We do have another appearance which comes in the first of 2 end credit scenes, which really, if you are invested in the current universe and the universe to come, it will kind of have you scratching your head as to what exactly they were trying to do in terms of this end credit scene. And then we get to the second end credit scene, which is far more in touch with the first movie. But again, because we know of the DC Universe reboot to come, it doesn't really have much impact or importance, it seems, going forward. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and review of Shazam, Fury and the Gods. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Where do you think it ranks amongst the hierarchy of current DC films? Do you think it was better than the first film or even worse? Let me know what you think. Do you think anybody will really be invested in this film or the upcoming movies as we really start to wind down the Snyderverse before we go forward with the James Gunn era of the DC characters? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have any further suggestions regarding any other movies, television series, or any other subject matter that you'd like to see me cover within the pop entertainment culture scene, also let me know in the comments and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves and I will see you very, very soon.